The Silent Sentinels. Captain Zixera of the galactic exploration vessel, Curiosity's Child, fidgeted nervously with her tentacles as her ship approached the unremarkable yellow star. This was supposed to be a routine survey of yet another backwater system, likely inhabited by pre-spaceflight primitives, if inhabited at all. But something was very, very wrong. Sensor Officer Krell, report. She barked, her 4 eyes fixed on the main view screen. Krell's exoskeleton clicked as he worked his console. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. The third planet it's surrounded by structures. Enormous structures. Zixera's tentacles curled tightly. Impossible. Our records show no advanced civilization in this sector. Nevertheless, Captain, Krell insisted, the data is clear. There's a Dyson swarm partially enclosing the star, and the third planet is encircled by what appear to be orbital habitats and shipyards. The scale is unprecedented. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. A civilization capable of building megastructures on this scale should have been known to the galactic community. The fact that they weren't was deeply unsettling. Helm, take us in closer to the third planet, Zixera ordered, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. But be ready to jump to hyperspace at a moment's notice. As the Curiosity's Child cruised deeper into the system, the crew watched in awe as the true scope of the construction became apparent. The Dyson swarm wasn't just collecting energy, it was redirecting it, creating a network of artificial stars throughout the system. The third planet, presumably the homeworld of whoever built all this, was barely visible beneath layers of orbital infrastructure. Captain, the helm officer suddenly shouted, multiple objects approaching at high speed. Before Zixera could respond, space itself seemed to ripple. Where moments ago there had been empty void, now there was a fleet. Sleek vessels of various sizes surrounded the Curiosity's Child, their designs unlike anything in known space. They seemed to glow with an inner light, and their surfaces were so smooth they almost appeared liquid. By the first egg, Zixera whispered. Tactical analysis. The tactical officer, his carapace pale with shock, responded shakily. Captain, I can't even begin to analyze their capabilities. Our sensors can't penetrate their hulls. But based on size alone, we're dealing with at least 3 Dreadnought-class vessels and dozens of smaller craft. We're completely outgunned. Zixera's mind raced. First contact protocols dictated caution, but also openness. With no way to flee or fight, there was only one option. Open a channel, she ordered. All frequencies. But before she could broadcast a message, the main view screen flickered to life. The image it displayed caused gasps throughout the bridge. The being looking back at them was shockingly familiar. Bipedal, 2 arms, a single head with 2 forward-facing eyes. It could have passed for any number of known species, except for its lack of scales, feathers, or exoskeleton. Its skin was bare, save for a coating of short fur on the top of its head. The being spoke, its words automatically translated by the ship's computers. Welcome to Earth. We've been expecting you. Zixera's tentacles twisted in confusion. I am Captain Zixera of the galactic exploration vessel, Curiosity's Child. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship. But you said you were expecting us. The being, clearly artificial, Zixera now realized, likely an avatar for their actual leadership, smiled. Indeed, we detected your ship's hyperspace signature as soon as you entered the system. We've been monitoring the galaxy's development for some time now. Monitoring. Zixera echoed, struggling to comprehend. But our records show no advanced civilization in this sector. Who are you? The avatar's expression turned wistful. Yes. Your records. They're about 500,000 years out of date, I'm afraid. We are humanity. And this is our home system, Sol. Earth is our birthplace, though we've long since expanded throughout our solar system and beyond. 500,000 years, the number struck Zixera like a physical blow. Many spacefaring civilizations were tens of thousands of years old, with a few rare ones crossing the 100,000-year mark. But 500,000. It was almost incomprehensible. But how? She managed to ask. Why haven't we encountered you before? The Avatar's smile returned. A fair question. The simple answer is, we weren't ready. Humanity's history is long and complex, filled with triumphs and tragedies. When we first achieved faster-than-light travel, we were still divided, still prone to conflict. We realized we weren't prepared to join a larger galactic community. Its expression grew serious. So we made a choice. We used our early FTL capability to set up observation posts throughout the galaxy, cloaked from detection. Then we turned our focus inward. We spent the next 500,000 years perfecting ourselves, our technology, our society. We wanted to be sure that when we finally did make contact, we would be a force for good in the galaxy. Zixera's scientific mind was reeling at the implications. The level of technology required to hide an entire civilization for so long, let alone the advancements they must have made in that time. Your structures, she said, the Dyson swarm, the orbital habitats, they're incredible. The Avatar nodded. Thank you. They're the result of centuries of work. The swarm not only powers our civilization, but allows us to engineer our entire solar system's climate. The orbital habitats house trillions of our citizens, as well as preserve millions of Earth species. Trillions? Zixera gasped. The largest known galactic civilizations barely topped 100 billion sentients. Indeed, the Avatar confirmed. Though citizens might not be quite the right word anymore. Over the centuries, the line between organic and artificial intelligence has blurred. Many of us exist as pure data, or in bodies that can adapt to any environment. Biological humans still exist, of course, but even they are far different from our original form. As if to demonstrate, the Avatar's form shifted, cycling through various alien species before settling back into its human shape. We've learned to adapt, to change, to grow. It's what's allowed us to survive and thrive for so long. Zixera felt simultaneously thrilled and terrified. The scientific opportunities here were beyond imagination, but the potential threat was equally staggering. Your ships, she said cautiously. They appeared out of nowhere. The Avatar's expression turned slightly mischievous. Yes. We've learned to manipulate space-time in ways your scientists have only dreamed of. Our ships don't so much fly as relocate, shifting between points in space-time almost instantaneously. It leaned forward slightly. But don't worry, Captain. We have no hostile intentions. In fact, we've been waiting a long time for this moment. We believe the galaxy is finally ready for what we have to offer. And what is that? Zixera asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. The Avatar's smile widened. Knowledge. Peace. A chance for all sentient beings to reach their full potential. We've solved problems your people haven't even discovered yet. We've unlocked the secrets of consciousness, of reality itself. And we want to share it all. It spread its arms wide. Captain Zixera, crew of the Curiosity's Child, you came seeking knowledge and friendship. Allow me to officially welcome you, on behalf of humanity, to the next chapter of galactic history. Together, we're going to change everything. As Zixera stared at the Avatar, her mind swirling with questions and possibilities, she knew one thing for certain. The galaxy would never be the same again. Galactic shockwaves. The grand amphitheater of the Galactic Council was in an uproar. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shouted, growled, and flashed bioluminescent patterns of agitation. The usually staid proceedings had devolved into chaos, all because of the news that had spread across the galaxy at FTL speeds. Humanity had emerged. High Counselor Vexalia, a towering insectoid with iridescent wings, slammed her gavel repeatedly. Order. We will have order. As the cacophony slowly died down, Vexalia's compound eyes surveyed the assembled representatives. We have all heard the reports, she began, her translator conveying her clicks and chirps into the standard galactic language. A previously unknown civilization has been discovered in the Sol system. Their technological advancement is unprecedented. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the amphitheater, showing the initial sensor readings from the Curiosity's child. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd as they saw the Dyson swarm, the massive orbital structures, the fleet that had appeared from nowhere. "Is it true?" called out Zorax, the representative from the militant Kraax Empire. "Have they really been hiding for 500,000 years?" Before Vex'ahlia could respond, the main doors of the amphitheater slid open with a soft hiss. A hush fell over the assembly as 3 figures entered. They were clearly human, though their appearance defied easy categorization. Their skin seemed to shimmer with subtle iridescence, and their eyes glowed with an inner light. They moved with an easy grace that suggested their bodies were far more than mere flesh. The lead human, a tall figure with dark skin and silver hair, stepped forward. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," they said, their voice resonating clearly without any visible translation device. "I am Ambassador Zara Okoye of Earth. My colleagues and I are honored to stand before you today." Vex'ahlia's antennae twitched in surprise. "Ambassador Okoye, we weren't expecting you so soon. Our fastest ships would have taken weeks to reach your system." Zara smiled. "Yes, well, we've made some advancements in transportation. But let's not get bogged down in technical details just yet. We're here to introduce ourselves properly and to offer our friendship to the galactic community." The amphitheater erupted in a flurry of questions, each representative trying to make their voice heard. Zara held up a hand, and somehow, impossibly, everyone fell silent. "I understand you have questions," Zora continued, "about who we are, where we've been, what we want. Let me try to address some of those." With a wave of their hand, the holographic display changed, showing a timeline of human history. Humanity achieved faster than light travel approximately 500,000 of our years ago. But we were not ready for the responsibilities that came with it. Our civilization was fractured, prone to conflict. We realized that joining the galactic community in that state would have been disastrous. The timeline zoomed in, showing snippets of human conflicts, environmental disasters, social upheavals. "So we made a choice," Zora explained. "We used our early FTL capabilities to set up cloaked observation posts throughout the galaxy. Then we turned our focus inward. We spent the next 500,000 years perfecting ourselves, our technology, our society." The hologram shifted again, displaying breathtaking images of Earth's transformed solar system, advanced human habitats, and ships that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "In that time," Zura continued, "we've solved problems your civilizations haven't yet encountered. We've unlocked secrets of the universe that redefine the very nature of existence. We've transcended the boundaries between organic and artificial life." To demonstrate, Zora's form shimmered and changed, cycling through various alien species represented in the council before settling back into their original form. The display was met with gasps and murmurs of awe. "But we didn't come here to boast," Zora said, their voice taking on a more serious tone. "We came to offer our help, our knowledge, our friendship. We believe that together, we can usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for all sentient beings in the galaxy." For a moment, the amphitheater was silent as the assembled representatives absorbed Zora's words. Then, predictably, the shouting began anew. "How do we know we can trust you?" demanded Zorax of the Kraax. "For all we know, you could be planning to conquer us all." Zara turned to face the Kraax representative, their expression calm. "If conquest was our goal, Ambassador Zorax, do you really think we would announce ourselves like this? With the technology at our disposal, we could have subjugated the galaxy before anyone realized what was happening." This statement, while meant to be reassuring, sent a chill through the assembly. It was a stark reminder of the power disparity between humanity and the rest of the galactic civilizations. Sensing the unease, one of Zora's colleagues stepped forward. She appeared younger, with features that might have been East Asian in Earth's distant past. Perhaps a demonstration would help ease your concerns, she suggested. With a gesture, she caused the holographic display to zoom in on a nearby star system. It was unremarkable, a red dwarf with a handful of barren, rocky planets. This system has been deemed uninhabitable by your surveys, she explained. Watch. Before the stunned assembly, the hologram showed massive ships appearing in the system. They began to work, redirecting comets and asteroids, adjusting planetary orbits. In what seemed like moments but must have represented years of work, the system transformed. Barren worlds became lush with life, and orbital habitats sprung up around them. This is happening in real time, the young-looking human explained. By the time this council session ends, that system will be ready for colonization by any species that wishes to claim it. The assembly exploded into frenzied discussion. Some representatives were awestruck by the display of power and benevolence. Others were clearly terrified by the implications. Still others were already calculating how to best take advantage of humanity's offerings. High Counselor Vexalia managed to restore order once more. Ambassador Okoye, she said, her voice filled with a mix of hope and trepidation, your offers are generous beyond measure. But surely you must understand our caution. The power you wield, it's beyond anything we've encountered. How can we be sure it won't corrupt you, or that you won't use it to dominate us? Zara nodded, acknowledging the validity of the concern. A fair question, Counselor. The truth is, you can't be certain. Not yet. Trust must be earned. But consider this. We've had this power for thousands of your lifetimes. We've watched your civilizations grow, make mistakes, learn, evolve. If domination was our goal, why reveal ourselves at all? They spread their arms wide, addressing the entire assembly. We're here because we believe in the potential of all sentient life. We want to share our knowledge, not hoard it. To lift up, not to conquer. Yes, we have power beyond your current understanding. But with that power comes a profound responsibility, one we've spent 500,000 years preparing to handle. Zara's voice took on a note of passion. Imagine what we could accomplish together. Diseases eradicated, hunger eliminated, the secrets of the universe unlocked. A true golden age, not just for humanity, but for all sentient beings. As Zara's words echoed through the amphitheater, the mood began to shift. Fear and suspicion were still present, but they were increasingly overshadowed by excitement and hope. The galactic community stood on the brink of a new era, and while the future was uncertain, it was filled with unprecedented potential. High Counselor Vexalia's antennae quivered as she processed the situation. Finally, she spoke. Ambassador Okoye, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I welcome humanity to our community. I propose we establish a special committee to work closely with your people to find the best ways to integrate your knowledge and capabilities with our existing structures. As murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly, Zara smiled. It was a small first step, but an important one. The galactic shockwaves of humanity's emergence would continue to spread, reshaping the very fabric of interstellar society. The true impact of this day would not be fully understood for generations to come. But one thing was certain, nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The Zorak Gambit. In the months following humanity's dramatic introduction to the Galactic Council, the political landscape of known space was in constant flux. Some civilizations eagerly embraced the opportunities presented by Earth's advanced technology, while others regarded the newcomers with suspicion and fear. But no species watched the humans more closely than the Zorak Empire. Supreme Commander Vexor of the Zorak stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest, his four arms clasped behind his back as he glared at the holographic display. It showed the latest intelligence on human activities, transformed star systems, miraculous medical interventions, feats of engineering that bordered on the impossible. Unacceptable, Vexor growled, his red scales bristling. The humans upset the balance of power. They must be contained. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Zalna, approached cautiously. Supreme Commander, our analysts suggest a direct confrontation would be inadvisable. The humans' technological superiority is overwhelming. Vexor's tail lashed in frustration. Then we must find another way to assess their capabilities, to find their weaknesses. His yellow eyes narrowed. What of the proposal from our diplomatic course? Zalna's crest flattened in a gesture of affirmation. It's ready, Supreme Commander. We can present it to the Galactic Council at any time. Do it, Vexor commanded. Let's see how these humans respond to a real challenge. The Galactic Council chambers were abuzz with activity as representatives from across known space gathered for an emergency session. At the center of attention stood Ambassador Zara Okoi, flanked by their human colleagues. High Counselor Vexalia called the session to order. Esteemed representatives, we have convened today to address a proposal from the Zorak Empire. Ambassador Krazak, you have the floor. A hulking Zorak diplomat stepped forward, his scales gleaming under the chamber's lights. Honored members of the council, and our esteemed colleagues from Earth, he began, his voice a low rumble. The Zorak Empire wishes to extend an invitation to our new human friends, a chance to demonstrate their capabilities and integrate more fully with galactic society. Zara's eyes narrowed slightly, but their expression remained neutral. We're listening, Ambassador. Krazak's mouth twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. We propose a joint military exercise, a grand simulation of space combat, strategy, and tactics. The humans would face off against a coalition of our greatest fleet commanders, using ships built to current galactic technological standards. A murmur ran through the assembled representatives. It was a bold proposal, and the subtext was clear. This would be a test of human capabilities, stripped of their technological advantages. Krazak continued, this exercise would serve multiple purposes. It would allow us to better understand human tactical thinking, showcase the strengths of various galactic militaries, and provide valuable training for all involved. Moreover, it would help ease concerns some have expressed about the imbalance of power the humans represent. Zara stepped forward, their gaze locked with Krazak's. An interesting proposal, Ambassador. But I sense there's more to this than a simple training exercise. The Zorak diplomat's crest rippled in what might have been amusement. Perceptive, Ambassador Okoi. Indeed, there is a deeper purpose. Many in the galaxy fear what your civilization might be capable of. This exercise would be a chance to demonstrate that, even without your advanced technology, humans can be contained, if necessary. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Some representatives voiced support for the idea, eager to see the humans tested. Others protested, calling it a thinly veiled act of aggression. Zara raised a hand, and once again, the chamber fell silent. All eyes turned to the human ambassador. We came to this council offering friendship and cooperation. Zara began, their voice calm but carrying an edge of steel. We have shared our knowledge freely, asked for nothing in return, but the opportunity to help. And now you propose to test us, to contain us. Krazak's crest flattened in a defensive posture. Surely you understand the concern, Ambassador. Your power is unprecedented. The galaxy needs assurance. For a long moment, Zara was silent, their glowing eyes sweeping across the chamber. Then, unexpectedly, they smiled. Very well. Ambassador Krazak, we accept your challenge. A shocked hush fell over the assembly. However, Zara continued, we have some conditions of our own. First, this will be a purely simulated exercise. No live weapons, no actual ships at risk. Second, we will indeed use ships built to current galactic standards, but we will design and crew them ourselves. And third, we want this broadcast across the galaxy. Let everyone see what transpires. Krazak's eyes widened in surprise, but he quickly regained his composure. Agreeable terms, Ambassador. We accept. As the two diplomats shook hands, Zora adapting smoothly to the Zorak's four-armed grip. The council chamber once again erupted in excited discussion. The stage was set for a showdown that would captivate the entire galaxy. In the weeks that followed, preparations for the grand military exercise consumed the attention of countless worlds. The Zorak assembled a coalition of the galaxy's most renowned fleet commanders, each bringing their unique strategies and technologies to bear. Meanwhile, humanity's actions puzzled many observers. They made no grand displays of shipbuilding, no visible preparations at all. Instead, human representatives traveled to various worlds, engaging in cultural exchanges and humanitarian projects. 2 days before the exercise was set to begin, humanity unveiled their fleet. To the shock of many, it consisted of only 10 ships, 9 Corvette-class vessels, and 1 flagship. All were built strictly to galactic standard specifications. This is an insult. Supreme Commander Vexor raged when he received the intelligence. They mock us with such a paltry force. Sub-Commander Zalma studied the reports carefully. Supreme Commander, our spies report something odd about the human crews. They don't seem to be living aboard the ships. They arrive for short periods, interface with the ship systems, and then leave. Vexor's crest rippled in confusion. What game are they playing? On the bridge of the human flagship Curiosity, Admiral Leela Patel sat motionless in the command chair, her eyes closed, a faint smile on her lips. To an outside observer, she appeared to be asleep. In reality, her consciousness was fully integrated with the ship's systems, running countless simulations and scenarios. The door to the bridge hissed open, and Ambassador Zara Okoye entered. "Admiral," they said softly, "it's almost time. Are you and your crew ready?" Leela's eyes opened, glowing with the same inner light as the ambassador's. "Ready and eager, Zara. The real question is the galaxy ready for us?" Zara's expression turned serious. "You understand the stakes here, Leela. We're not just fighting for victory. We're fighting for understanding, for acceptance. If we overwhelm them completely—" "I know," Leela nodded. "We need to win their respect, not their fear. Don't worry. We've planned for every contingency. By the time this is over, the galaxy will see that humanity's strength lies not in our technology, but in our adaptability, our creativity, and our spirit." As if on cue, the ship's communication system chimed. A galactic standard time countdown appeared on the main view screen. 1 hour until the exercise began. Zara placed a hand on Leela's shoulder. "Well then, Admiral, show them what humanity can do." As the ambassador left the bridge, Leela closed her eyes once more, her consciousness expanding to encompass not just her ship, but the entire small fleet. In her mind, she saw her crew, the best tactical as humanity had developed over 500,000 years of simulations, each one imprinted with the memories and experiences of a human master strategist. They were massively outnumbered and technologically matched with their opponents, but they had one advantage the Zorak hadn't counted on: 500,000 years of simulated combat experience, distilled into 10 ship crews. A smile played across Leela's lips. The Zorak had laid their gambit. Now it was time for humanity's countermove. The galaxy was about to witness a battle it would never forget. Battle of 1,000 Suns. The Xylar Nebula blazed with the light of 1,000 suns, its swirling gases and newborn stars providing a breathtaking backdrop for the impending battle. At the edge of the nebula, 2 fleets faced each other across the vast emptiness of space. On one side, the combined might of the galaxy's greatest military powers, over 100 capital ships, flanked by swarms of destroyers, cruisers, and fighter squadrons. The Zorak Empire's dreadnoughts formed the core of the armada, their hull plating glinting ominously in the light of distant stars. On the other side, humanity's tiny fleet hung in space, 9 corvettes and a single flagship, looking absurdly small and vulnerable against the backdrop of their opponents' overwhelming numbers. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched with bated breath as the battle simulation was about to begin. The outcome of this confrontation would shape interstellar politics for centuries to come. On the bridge of the Eternal Conquest, Supreme Commander Vexor allowed himself a satisfied growl. "Look at their pitiful fleet," he rumbled. "This will be over quickly." Sub-Commander Zalna wasn't so sure. "Supreme Commander, our intelligence suggests we should not underestimate the humans. Their ships may be few, but—" "Enough," Vexor snapped. "The humans have no advantage here. Our coalition represents the pinnacle of galactic military might. We will crush them and put an end to the uncertainty they've brought to the galaxy." He turned to his communications officer. "Signal the fleet. Commence the attack." Aboard the human flagship Curiosity, Admiral Leela Patel's eyes snapped open, glowing with an inner light. "They're moving," she announced, her voice calm and assured. "All ships, initiate start-and-sir protocol." To the astonishment of every observer, the human ships suddenly burst into motion. They moved with a fluidity and coordination that seemed impossible, weaving complex patterns through space that defied conventional tactical doctrine. As the massive enemy fleet opened fire, their energy beams and projectiles found only empty space where human ships had been moments before. The corvettes danced between the shots, their movements precise and seemingly prescient. "Impossible," Vexor snarled. "No organic crew could react that fast. They must be cheating, using AI pilots." Zelma checked the sensor readings. "Negative, Supreme Commander. We're detecting standard life signs aboard their vessels. Whatever they're doing, it's not machine-driven." In reality, Leela and her crew were operating on a level beyond anything the galaxy had seen before. Their consciousness expanded beyond their physical bodies. They existed as one with their ships. Every crew member was a blend of human intuition and AI processing power. Their minds accelerated to experience time at a radically faster rate than their opponents. "Corvettes Area and Sonata. Execute pincer movement on Zorak Battle Group 3, Leela commanded. In the space of a heartbeat, tactical simulations played out in the shared mindspace of the human fleet. Countless possible moves and countermoves were analyzed and discarded before the optimal strategy was chosen. The two corvettes moved in perfect synchronization, slipping through gaps in the enemy formation that existed for mere seconds. They emerged behind a group of Zorak cruisers, their simulated weapons taking out key systems before the enemy could even register their presence. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out. The human ships seemed to be everywhere and nowhere, striking with surgical precision before vanishing into the chaos of combat. Mighty dreadnoughts found themselves outmaneuvered by ships a fraction of their size. Entire squadrons of fighters were led on wild chases that left them hopelessly out of position. In the galactic capital, the Council watched in stunned silence. "By the cosmic egg," High Counselor Vexolia whispered, her compound eyes wide with astonishment. "How are they doing this?" Ambassador Zara Okoi, standing calmly beside her, allowed a small smile. "This, Counselor, is the true strength of humanity. Not our technology, but our adaptability, our creativity, our ability to transcend our limitations." As the battle entered its third hour, the Coalition fleet was in disarray. Despite their overwhelming numerical advantage, they had yet to score a single significant hit on the human ships. Frustration and confusion reigned across the enemy armada. Supreme Commander Vexor's tail lashed furiously as he watched another carefully laid trap fall apart in the face of the humans' impossible maneuvers. "Enough of this," he snarled. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega." Overwhelmed them with sheer firepower. The Coalition fleet began to regroup, forming a massive sphere with the human ships at the center. Energy weapons charged, missile bays opened. It seemed there would be no escape for the tiny human fleet. Aboard the Curiosity, Leela observed the enemy's movements with calm interest. In the accelerated time of her perception, she had hours to consider her response, while only seconds passed in real time. "Admiral," one of her crew communicated through their shared mental link. "They're preparing to saturate the entire area with weapons fire. Our predictive algorithms show no safe paths through such a barrage. Leela's consciousness expanded further, taking in the entirety of the battlefield, from the movements of capital ships to the swirling eddies of the nebula's gases. In that moment of expanded awareness, she saw not just the enemy's plan, but the perfect counter to it. All ships, she commanded, her thoughts instantly transmitted to the entire fleet, prepare for supernova gambit. The coalition weapons officers tensed, fingers hovering over firing controls. The order came, and space itself seemed to ignite as thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the center of their formation. For a moment, it appeared as if the human fleet had finally been caught. Then, to the shock of every observer, the small ships flew straight into the barrage. They moved with impossible precision, slipping between energy beams, using the explosions of missiles to mask their movements. Before the stunned coalition gunners could adjust their aim, the human ships were among them, inside the sphere of their formation. What followed was a masterclass in close-quarters space combat. The corvettes spun and weaved between the massive capital ships, using them as shields against their allies' fire. Chaos erupted within the coalition fleet as ships desperately tried to avoid firing on their allies. In the confusion, the human vessels struck with deadly accuracy, their simulated weapons taking out key systems on ship after ship. In the council chambers, the assembled representatives watched in awe as the tide of battle turned decisively. Ships that had been painstakingly maneuvered into firing position now found themselves drifting powerless. Entire battle groups were thrown into disarray by the actions of a single human corvette. "It's not possible," one reptilian diplomat hissed. "No organic crew could coordinate like that, could calculate such precise movements in real time." Ambassador Zera turned to address the council. "What you're seeing is the culmination of 500,000 years of human development. Our crews are indeed organic, but they are also so much more. They are the perfect fusion of human intuition and machine calculation, able to make decisions and act in microseconds." A collective shudder ran through the assembly as they began to grasp the true implications of what they were witnessing. Back in the Xylar Nebula, Supreme Commander Vexor watched in helpless rage as his mighty fleet was systematically dismantled by a force he had dismissed as insignificant mere hours ago. "Signal the withdrawal," he growled, each word tasting like ash in his mouth. "The exercise is over. We yield to the humans." As the battered coalition fleet limped away, the human ships regrouped. To any outside observer, they appeared unchanged, their hulls unmarked by even simulated weapons fire. But for Leela and her crew, millennia had seemed to pass in the hyper-accelerated time of their shared consciousness. As billions across the galaxy tried to process what they had just witnessed, Leela allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. The battle was won, but the true challenge was just beginning. Now they had to win the peace. "All ships," she communicated to her fleet, "well done. Let's go home and show the galaxy what humanity can really do when we work together." The tiny fleet, which had just reshaped the galactic balance of power, winked out of existence as the simulation ended. But its impact would be felt for generations to come. Pax Humana. The grand halls of the Galactic Council, once a cacophony of heated debates and political maneuvering, now stood eerily quiet. Representatives from 1,000 worlds sat in stunned silence, still processing the implications of the battle they had witnessed mere days ago. The humans, with a fleet of just 10 ships, had utterly outmaneuvered and defeated the combined might of the galaxy's greatest military powers. High Counselor Vexalia's antennae twitched nervously as she called the emergency session to order. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her translator struggling to convey the mix of awe and trepidation in her voice. "We stand at a crossroads in galactic history. The humans have demonstrated capabilities beyond our comprehension. We must now decide how to move forward in this new era." As murmurs began to ripple through the assembly, the main doors slid open. Ambassador Zera Okoy entered, flanked by Admiral Leela Patel and a small team of human diplomats. The room fell silent once more, all eyes fixed on the beings who had reshaped the balance of power overnight. Zara stepped forward, their eyes glowing with that disconcerting inner light. Honored representatives of the Galactic Council, they began, voice calm yet carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. We stand before you not as conquerors, but as partners. What you witnessed in the Xylar Nebula was not a demonstration of dominance, but a call for understanding. Admiral Patil moved to stand beside Zara, her posture relaxed, but emanating an unmistakable aura of command. The battle simulation, she explained, was designed to showcase not just our tactical abilities, but the true nature of our advancement. We fought not with superior technology, but with the perfect fusion of human intuition and machine efficiency. A Zorak representative, scales still bristling with humiliation, rose to speak. And how are we to trust beings of such power? You could dominate us all on a whim. Zara's expression softened. If domination were our goal, honored representative, we would not be standing here now. We spent 500,000 years in isolation not to conquer, but to ensure we could rejoin galactic society as a force for good. As the assembly buzzed with discussion, Zara continued, we propose a new path forward, a Pax Humana, if you will. Not a peace imposed by human might, but a collaborative effort to elevate all sentient life in the galaxy. Admiral Patil activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed images of barren worlds transformed into lush paradises, of advanced medical techniques eradicating diseases, of energy production on a scale previously thought impossible. This is what we offer, Patil said, her voice filled with passion. Our knowledge, our capabilities, freely shared with all who wish to participate. We propose joint scientific ventures, cultural exchanges, and yes, defense cooperation. Together, we can usher in an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity. The council chamber erupted in a mixture of excited chatter and skeptical murmurs. Zara raised a hand, and once again, silence fell. We understand your concerns, they said. Such rapid change is daunting. That's why we propose a gradual integration process. We will work with any civilization that wishes to join us, at a pace they're comfortable with. Our goal is not to overwhelm, but to elevate. High Counselor Vexalia's compound eyes studied the human delegation intently. And what of those who choose not to participate? Will they be left behind, ostracized? Admiral Patel shook her head. Not at all, Counselor. We respect the autonomy of all civilizations. Those who wish to maintain their current way of life will be free to do so. We ask only for peaceful coexistence. As the council debated, the holographic display shifted to show the battle simulation once more. But this time, it focused not on the combat itself, but on the incredible coordination and adaptability of the human fleet. What you see here, Zara explained, is the culmination of 500,000 years of human development. We have transcended the boundaries between organic and artificial intelligence. Each of our ship crews operates as a single, hyper-intelligent entity, able to process information and make decisions at speeds that appear impossible. A wave of unease passed through the assembly. A Quilaxian philosopher king raised a tentacle. Do you propose to change us in this way, to fuse our minds with machines? Zara's response was immediate and firm. Absolutely not, unless it is explicitly desired. Our goal is to share knowledge, not to forcibly alter anyone. The path we took is not the only path to advancement. We believe every species has unique strengths and perspectives to offer. Our aim is to combine these diverse approaches to create something greater than the sum of its parts.